Okay, sup you chucklefucks, it's your boy Dark Rock Blue here with What If Issei had karma seals. So yeah, this is part 1, a redo, yes. Now I know what y'all thinking before you comment. Before you motherfucker starts commenting, I know what you're all thinking. Wait, why are you doing so many redo what ifs? Like goddamn, just stick to one of the goddamn what ifs and just continue it on instead of redoing it. Well, you fucker, I have way too many ideas. So with that happening, I'm gonna keep redoing stuff until I like it. Because, yeah, I don't give a care. I don't not care. I don't give a. What the fuck did you say? I don't give a care. No, I don't care. What's it called? Because I also mentioned I slept for 6 hours, 7, 8. I think it was 8. I still don't know why I'm half-ass tired right now. I really do not understand. Probably because I haven't done anything the whole day and it's pretty damn hot where I live at. But not the point. Let me begin into this what if. Let me shut the fuck up and let me begin into this what if. So we begin now. Let's begin. So we begin into mostly a school day, a nice fun school day. Just kidding. It's mostly the beginning of mostly junior year, or yeah, kind of junior, but not the point. It's this not junior year. It's mostly this school is its name is called Kuo Academy. There is kind of some ruckus happening in this school. Mostly, well, 3 people running away like hell. They are in basically their second year, and of course, they're running away like hell. Now, there's also a crowd of an army of girls chasing after them. Not trying to, like, make out with them or any of that. No, trying to kill them. So, the 3 people are, 2 boys have black hair, or kind of. Mostly one of them has black hair, the other one kind of has just his hair kind of shaved. But of course, he has tan skin, and of course has his eyes closed, like running like hell. But of course, you can somewhat still see. His name is Matsui. Now, of course, the boy next to him is, mostly a guy with longish, kind of blackish hair. Not that long, that much. But of course, having like glasses that are somewhat broken because he did almost get hit in the face with a metal fucking pipe. But luckily he managed to dodge, but not the point. So he managed to kind of dodge, but that's not the point. Mostly he has kind of like blackish eyes and doesn't work well. He is running like hell and his name is Murahama. Now there's a boy in the middle who has kind of like brownish hair. Kind of spiky, messy, kind of brownish hair. Now, he has this kind of, what's it called? He also has this goldenish kind of color eyes. But of course, he is running like hell. This is where, he is right in the middle. And of course, his friends would have tried to trip him. But luckily, he managed to jump over his friends. But yeah. Now, of course, he seems to be a little bit more physical shape than the others. But not trying to, mostly show it too much. You see here, the boy kind of has these clothing that he is wearing seems to be kind of baggy. But he's kind of holding like his pants so it won't kind of fall. But they're running like hell right now because, you see here, these 2 people that are beside him, kind of Murahama Matsui decides to go peep on some of the girls and decides to do a speed run of how many girls they can, get to chase after them. Now, this boy was actually caught on the crossfire. His name is Issei Hyoto, but he was caught on the crossfire from the fact that his 2 of the other friends ran towards him. Now, he didn't know anything what to do, but he just starts running awesome. These 2 idiots literally dragged his ass into this fucking just bullcrap that much. Now, mostly they hear behind them, get them, kill them. This is where, mostly Issei saying, what the fuck did you 2 do, idiots? This is where, mostly Murahama Matsui says, come on, Issei, just sacrifice yourself for us. This is where Issei says, hell no. How about you 2 sacrifice yourself for me? This is where, both of them say, Issei, please. This is where Issei says, hell no. You guys are tripping as fucking hell. Guys, for fuck's sakes, what the hell did you 2 do? Took LSD and then went on a fucking speed run to go see how many people will kill you? This is where, they say, first of all, we're not high. We didn't take any drugs. This is where he says, yeah, I refuse to believe this bullcrap because somehow you motherfuckers decide to get a fucking army of girls to try to kill us. How the fuck did I get dragged into this fucking mess? This is where, mostly both of his friends say, we ran towards you. Yes, you 2 idiots ran towards me. Now, I would stop, but I don't know if the girls will actually pay attention or will probably attack me also. Because I'm literally with you, you dumbasses. This is where, Moses' friend says, "Come on, Issei, sacrifice." This is where Issei says, "No, you assholes. This is the one day I didn't actually want to go peep on girls with you two idiots, and now I'm getting dragged along just because you two idiots wanted to kind of, I don't know, just feel, or mostly not even feel, mostly just see. Now fuck off, you guys. How about we just take multiple routes, and we will see each other after a while." And this is where, well, mostly they all nodded. And of course, when they're about to turn the corner of the school, mostly Issei went a different direction from his friends. And this is where his friends also, mostly Murahama went straight. Matsui turned the corner. Issei went to the mostly right of him. And that's basically towards the gate. Now, the gate isn't open, but mostly the girls notice Matsui and Murahama going just different directions. Of course, they would have keep chasing after them, but they see Issei as kind of an easy prey. This is where Issei is right now running towards the gate. He knows that it's fucking closed. The girls think that mostly Issei's an idiot. Now Issei, he knows what to do here. This is where he's actually going to do a style that he actually, well, remembers doing it because, well, he basically, he's not fully, mostly Japanese. He's actually what's it called? Well, he is Japanese, but he remember his old school when he ever had to get away from people. He just learned this style a while ago, but not the point. Mostly from a good old, mostly a good friend of his. But yeah, this is where, well, it's called jumping over the fence, doing the Mexican style. This is where, well, mostly Issei sees the kind of like mostly the brick wall and of course mostly the gate, and he didn't care too much. He grabbed onto the gate, just jumping over that shit. Well, not really jumping over it. He kind of just took a very running long, like, way over there. Of course, he noticed there was a, what's it called, a little, like, platform that you can, like, jump on. And, of course, it's kind of small a little bit. And you can try to jump over the fence. People really haven't tried that because they know that you have to dolphin dive. And you're going to hurt your face more in than ever. Of course, you managed to get away from anything, but yeah. Someone actually put that there just because, well, they actually wanted to know if people would be crazy enough. But people don't think people will be that crazy enough until, well, mostly who actually put it there will actually be a girl. And this is where, well, the girl is actually in the crowd kind of seeing this and confused in what Issei's doing. Issei jumped on the platform, fucking dolphin dive right now, just dolphin dive over the fence. Well, doesn't really smash his face into the ground. He rolls on it. And of course he like does a roll so he won't hurt himself too much. And starts kind of booking it. He says, fuck this, I'm gonna go ditch now. This is where, well, Issei just went fully go ditch. Yeah, he just didn't care. He really doesn't care about his records or whatever bullcrap. So yeah, he's just gonna go ditch. He literally just went to what they call McDonald's just to go buy some shit. But yeah, but not the point. This is where, well, all the girls are just left there stunned. Of course, Matsui and Murahama were managing to escape because none of the girls chased after him or after them. Of course, mostly thinking to chase Issei, but Issei just jumped it. He jumped it and did a fucking like roll so he doesn't hurt himself too much. But yeah, that was an interesting situation. This is where, well, but of course he really didn't care and just went to McDonald's. But yeah, not the point. Now, of course, the girls were disappointed because they couldn't really hurt people. They even though they had bloodlust, some of the girls wanted to attempt to try what Issei did. Of course, just to jump out of the school and chase after him. But they already know that Issei was already long gone. They don't even know where he went entirely. He could have like went to somewhere. Just they don't really know what Issei is really interested in. But mostly Issei just booked it. But yeah. Now, of course, one of the girls did try to attempt to do it, which she managed to, but of course, she managed to kind of get her kind of arm a little scraped. This is where she was bleeding. This is where, well, she couldn't really just jump back into the, what's it called, well, school. This is where, well, the girls mostly, like, get out of their, what's it called, mostly rip a little bit of their clothing just to give her a bandage, like a makeshift bandage. And, of course, where, well, the girl says, I think I should probably go to the hospital, shouldn't I? This is where all of them say, no shit, you gotta do that. This is where, well, mostly they kind of just tell her to go to a hospital, even though she's somewhat a new student for Kuo, actually just entirely the town. There's no way to actually get her to the hospital entirely, if she actually just calls the mostly like hospital nurse. But they don't want to get on the bad side of Kaichu, who is the student president, who just kind of did tell a bunch of people not to ditch, but of course it will actually be found out. So of course they're just telling her to kind of just walk there. not call them, because if the hospital just comes over here, there'd be a strange situation where Kaiju kind of get angry at them. So yeah, that's the thing. This is where the girl nodded. She does have kind of like this reddish little bit of hair, and of course these rubish eyes, and this is where, well, she kind of nodded, and this is where, well, she kind of walks off. Well, it's kind of reddish and kind of like brownish color, but yeah. This is where, well, she kind of like going towards to find the hospital, okay? Of course, she's kind of hurt, and this is where, well, she's like, damn it. It's only because we went after the kind of brunette. Why didn't we go after the others? Why did the brunette have to just jump over the fence like a crazy fucker? This is where, well, she's walking around, and of course, this is where, well, mostly she was about to turn a corner until mostly, well, someone else appeared right in front of her. It's none other than the same brunette that actually managed to jump over the shit, and imagine she just roll on his, like, feet. This is where, well, he literally is stuffing his face with a burger, having a drink in his hand, and right now hearing music. This is where, well, also the person's kind of a little bit high, but not the point. This is where, well, she glares at the brunette, and this is where the brunette will wind his eyes and realize he's going to have to start booking it. This is where, well, mostly the girl managed to grab his, like, shoulder in an instant before he can even run it. And this is where, well, Issei kind of realized that his shoulder was grabbed until mostly the girl kind of feels mostly hard, mostly muscles on mostly the brunette's kind of shoulder. This is where, well, she decides to kind of go down towards his arm and can feel muscles. This is where the brunette managed to take his arm away from her. And this is where, well, he started trying to eat the burger fully until he started choking a little bit. Until he just drank the freaking drink. And this is where, well, he just downed it all until he kind of just looks at the red-haired brunette and kind of just like, he coughed into. He finally managed to get the food all the way down until he's just like, son of a bitch. What the hell are you doing out here? This is where, well, mostly the brunette kind of said towards the red hair. This is where, well, the red hair grumbles and says, I'm looking for the damn hospital. This is where she said him very angry and grumbly. This is where, well, he says, huh? This is where he noticed the shoulder of hers, which is not really cut. Well, it is cut, but it's also kind of also like hurt. Like she kind of accidentally kind of like hit the fence and then fell down the ground when she hit the fence, but still kind of fell down the ground at the same arm that hit the fence, mostly the shoulder. So of course it's pretty hurt, and she can barely move it. This is where, well, Issei notices and says, "Are you hurt?" This is where, well, mostly she nodded and said, "Yeah, I'm looking for the hospital just so they can analyze this." This is where Issei sighs and says, "You realize you were going the right direction. Just go all the way straight." This is where, well, mostly she nodded until she noticed how the brunette was about to just start dipping, but about to just start kind of booking it. This is where, well, before mostly Issei can actually like start running it after seeing the red hair about to just leave. This is where he gets his collar grabbed in an instant. He turns around and glares at the female, but of course he decides to just like mostly go back to kind of an emotional look and kind of ask why she even wanted to grab his collar. This is where, well, she kind of just says, well, I don't entirely know how to say I'm hurt when I'm in the hospital. This is my first time going into a hospital, she says. This is where, well, Issei's deadpans and says, really? Ah, fine. This is where, well, both of them are actually walking towards the hospital because mostly this girl doesn't seem to. She's probably nervous and shy and probably doesn't know how to talk too much, and decides to just ask, well, one of her kind of, well, classmates to help her out, even though if it's a guy. This is where, well, she noticed that mostly the guy Issei hasn't actually taken any glances at her. Issei's mostly on his phone right now hearing music. The song he's hearing right now is called, well, so this is where Issei is hearing called Voices. That's what the song is literally called, and made by fuck, I can't read. Wait. Fuck. Mostly mobilized in white, so yeah. Okay, for some reason I couldn't read for a second, but not the point. But yeah, that's the song what he's hearing. Wait, what the, oh fuck. But he's hearing that. This is where, well, he is kind of like looking through his like playlist to see what other songs that he might just hear while he's going to the damn hospital. This is where, well, she tries to like glance at his phone and what he's actually doing. Maybe he's looking at photos or whatever. And this is where, well, she just realized that Issei's just clearly just hearing music. She can actually hear a little bit because it's kind of loud enough for other people to hear, even though it's like muffled. But it's in his ear, mostly in his like ears. But yeah. This is where, well, Issei is kind of like, what is this in my head? Whatever, he just kind of like, mostly, you can kind of hear it like that, but not the point. This is where, well, they're kind of walking until they mostly get towards the hospital. Issei did check what time it is. It's almost time to kind of like, get ready to kind of, well, get into mostly like 5th period or something, because this happened during, well, not 5th period, mostly like the time to kind of get into like 6th period. But yeah, they were walking for a while, and this is where, well, Issei sighs because mostly his friends screw him over for the whole entire school day. But then again, his parents probably won't care too much. Maybe not, but whatever. This is where, well, mostly he kind of just like looked towards the hospital. Of course, they walk in. This is where, well, the girl's kind of shy and hiding behind Issei, which Issei really didn't care too much. This is where, well, the nurse kind of questioned and what Issei needs. This is where, well, Issei said, well, he kind of needs this girl's arm to be checked on because she kind of fell down a flight of stairs and broke it. Probably. He can't tell. She also did get a nasty scrape on it. A cut. This is where, well, the nurse said, okay, yes, she will go into this room. May you sign some papers? Yeah, sure, why not? This is where, well, Issei just signed papers about like his name, this or whatever. He doesn't even know this girl's name, so of course, this is where, well, he kind of said, fuck it, I would just keep it blank. Probably, fuck, what was her name? This is where, well, Issei can't really remember her name entirely. Of course, where, well, he would just kind of keep it blank until, well, she can just write it on there. Because, well, Issei doesn't really know who she is that much and doesn't really care. This is where, well, Issei kind of gave the nurse the papers, and this is where the nurse nodded, and this is where, well, he just says, also, before I leave, can I get the room, well, mostly, I should say, room number of mostly 649, please? This is where, well, mostly the nurse nodded and says, yes, you can go ahead. This is where, well, she is right now, mostly, Mrs. Chile is right now kind of, well, mostly sleeping, but I can give you the room. Are you a relative towards her? This is where, well, it says, yes. She's mostly my grandmother. Yes. You must be Issei Haidu? Yes, that is my name. This is where, well, he mostly got a approved nod to actually go up towards the room. But before going up there, mostly, well, he gets his arm kind of grabbed by mostly he gets his shoulder grabbed again by someone else. He turns around and sees it's one of the doctors. Now, not a doctor, it's mostly a nurse, and this is where the nurse says, are you the boy that came with mostly the lady over there? He said, yeah, why? She seems to be quite having a panic attack and would rather for you to kind of just stay there. This is where, well, Issei sighs and says, fine. Issei he didn't really want to deal with this shit, but this is where, well, he decides to go towards mostly the room and sees her kind of having a frantic panic attack. Now, of course, she noticed, well, she locked eyes with mostly Issei and decides to kind of calm down a little bit. Now, this is where, well, Issei sighs because this is not what he actually wanted to plan for any of that. Now, of course, he did smoke a little bit of weed, and he's a little bit high, and he doesn't actually want the cops to actually know about this, but yeah. So, of course, he decides to just have his eyes closed a little bit, so mostly the doctors won't suspect anything from him, but yeah. Now, he is kind of just sitting there, kind of hearing music. Of course, the doctors are kind of, well, telling her to either kind of, well, close her eyes so she doesn't need to look at the blood too much, and this is where, well, she does it, and also grab Issei's arm to kind of put her face into mostly his arm. This is where Issei kind of narrows his eyes, went very grumbly a little bit, but this is where, well, mostly the doctors manage to clean up the nasty scrape, of course, kind of put some stitches to kind of like put the, well, cut of it to kind of back together. Of course, this is where, well, kind of putting her arm into mostly to kind of keep her, or mostly put her arm in a, what's it called, what was those things called again? Mostly in a slip, just for your arm so it can heal. I forgot what it's called. Slicky? No, I can't remember. Whatever. But this is where, well, she is trying not to cry, but this is where, well, we'll see Issei is grumbling, and this is where, well, we go into a time skip of her kind of finally getting out of the hospital. Now, of course, it took them a while because she did squirm around and kind of get too nervous and tense. And this is where they're just trying to kind of tell her to stop tensing up and stop kind of like squirming a little bit. But of course, it still kind of went on for a while. This is where, well, it now became to be, well, mostly the end of the day for the school. And this is where, well, mostly the girl is sighing. Of course, this is where, well, she also realized that she kind of did cry and probably put some saliva in Issei's kind of jacket coat, which mostly it was just a school uniform. This is Issei's sighing, saying, ugh, whatever. This is where, well, he noticed the girl is still kind of following him. And this is where Issei said, what do you want? You know you can always just leave the hospital. They told you it was a good idea to leave. This is where, oh, she said, well, I don't really know where the exit's at. This is where, well, Issei says, the exit's right behind you. What exactly do you want from me? I have someone to visit. I don't want someone to literally bother me when I not really visit. He didn't say anything about visit. He just said, I have something to do. Go away. This is where, well, Issei kind of waves her off. And Issei was about to just keep walking until she then says, thank you. This is where she kind of like spoke out. This is where, well, Issei turns back around and looks at her and says, why? If it wasn't for you, I would have probably, passed out and cried yourself to sleep or something. Maybe. This is where, well, Issei sighs and says, just go away from me. I have way too many things to do right now. Also, it's the end of the day. You can literally go home. This is where, well, mostly she said, well, how would I explain this to my family? No, just say that you fell down some stairs. You didn't see where you were going and you just fell down some stairs. This is where, well, mostly the girl kind of sweats off at mostly Issei. And this is where Issei says, other than that, I have to be going. This is where, well, Issei's kind of going to, mostly not the elevator, but mostly the stairs. This is where, well, the girl was confused to see mostly Issei going the stairs instead of mostly the elevator. She thought the elevator would be quicker, but for Issei, it seems for the stairs to be quicker. This is where, well, she decides to kind of get to the stairs to see what Issei will be doing until Issei basically jumps on the railing on one of the stairs. Well, mostly the stair railing, and of course decides to just keep jumping up and down. Basically, he's just doing parkour. Of course, where, well, she thought it would, well, when mostly she managed to open the door because Issei was already further away from her, she noticed that Issei is basically doing parkour and just jumping all the way up to basically a stair levels. Now, of course, she doesn't know where exactly he will be going, but of course, this is where, well, she thought it was extremely dangerous. This is where, well, she tries to kind of call out for Issei's name, but this is where, well, she then wonders why she's actually worried about, well, one of these perverted kind of losers. Then again, one of the perverted losers did help her out and basically just calm her down, even though he was just grumbling most of the time. Of course, this is where she decides to try to follow him, but this is where he stopped at one of the stairs, and she should have counted it because, well, she kind of got lost when she tried to follow him. This is where, well, Issei is now at a Pacific room, and this is where, well, Issei kind of gets into the room, even though mostly the nurse, well, mostly there was a room that was kind of closed, but this is where he uses a key card to kind of open it. This is where, well, he was going inside it, and this is where, well, mostly the girl is sighing and where, what's it called, Issei went. She actually went to the wrong floor, and actually the 5th floor, but Issei was in the 4th floor, but not the point. This is where, well, Issei is now in this room, kind of just looking at an old lady that's right now kind of laying on a, well, bed. Right now there's the monitor who's going beep, beep. This is where, well, Issei is seeing right now this old lady kind of having the oxygen kind of put into her face and other things. She's breathing out and breathing in. This is where, well, Issei kind of just opens, well, fully, well, mostly goes in there. Well, not really goes in it. Mostly he's already inside it, but this is where, well, he kind of just stand next to this old lady. And this is where, well, we'll see. This old lady does have a bit of brownish hair. Of course, she has wrinkles in her face. Her eyes are closed. And yet, this is where, well, she is kind of having a little smile on her face. This is where, well, mostly Issei notices, and this is where, well, Issei decides to pull up a chair and decides to sit down and look at mostly this, well, old lady. Her name is none other than Chile, well, what's it called? No, mostly I was about to say Hokage, not the Hokage. No, Chile, Hatake. This is where, well, mostly Issei sighs and says, "Hey, grandmother, it's been a while." Damn it. It's been over freaking 2 years since you haven't woken up. Damn it. It's all my fault. It's all my stupidity. All my stupid fault. He kind of just sighs a bit more. And this is where, well, this is where he noticed at his two palms, there's one red diamond and one blue diamond. And, well, mostly each of his palms. Mostly in his left palm, there's actually a red diamond. While in his right palm, there's actually a blue diamond. But this is where, well, he then crushes both of his hands by kind of clenching them. And this is where, oh, he kind of just sighs. He still sees the diamonds. And this is where he just gets angry even more. He almost activated both abilities, but this is where he calmed himself enough. This is where, well, he looks at, well, the old lady, and this is where Issei said, "Grandma, chill. Don't worry. I'll get you the medicine that you will need for you to survive. I'm not gonna let you die. Just like my parents. They died a while ago. They died in a car crash accident. You were the only one to ever, well, be able to raise me up, even if I was from a younger age." This is where we go into mostly a flashback of mostly Issei's parents dying, mostly in a car crash, and this is where Issei was crying. He was around the age of being, well, mostly 10. And this is where, well, mostly his grandmother and grandfather decided to take care of him. His grandfather was mostly like a mostly an old, what's it called? An old war veteran, and of course, at the same time, somewhat like a dojo master. But yeah, this is where, well, mostly his grandmother was the one to actually be able to take care of him like his actual mother, and his grandfather like his actual kind of father. But his grandfather did pass away a while ago. So, of course, it's only his grandmother that's actually with him. So, of course, well, Issei's sighing right now. This is where, well, he gets up in an instant, and this is where, well, he then looks back at his grandmother and just smiles a little bit. "Don't worry, grandmother. I'll get you the money, I'll get you the medicine that you will need to survive, and I will really want to apologize to you in person, instead of my stupidity and what I did 2 years ago. Don't worry. I promise I won't die, even if this job line of mine is a little shady. You can probably kill me anytime. But just remember, grandmother, I always love you, and I hope you wake up soon. Even if I don't get you the medicine, I really hope that you wake up soon." This is where, well, Issei gets up, and of course he has a actually smile that actually isn't fake most of the time, because mostly in school it's always a fake smile that usually he smiles around his friends, and they know about his fake smile because they know that that isn't a true smile. But of course they just smile also with him, kind of faking it a little bit, but they are just mostly not truly good at faking their smiles most of the time. But that's not the point. This is where, well, Issei gets up, and this is where he goes to open the door, and this is where, well, mostly someone was kind of like finally getting to the right kind of floor. Like, she thought that she went up way too high and decided to go back down, and trying to memorize where he actually managed to get off the stairs, because there's actually, like, what's it called, 6 floors, and of course, this is where, well, she thinks that mostly the 6th floor would be crossed out, and decides to just go back down mostly some flight of stairs and go down to the 4th floor. This is where, well, she then just kind of walked through the hallway until mostly one of the doors was opening, and this is where, well, she got too nervous and frozen still, and this is where, well, when the door opened fully, it was none other than Issei. This is where when Issei opened his eyes, his goldenish brown eyes, he met lock with the same reddish kind of ruby eye kind of color of girl. This is where, well, both of their eyes just met, and this is where, well, Issei closed his door fully, mostly behind him, and this is where he just walked away by basically turning to the left of him and starting to walk away. But before kind of going, mostly the red hair was kind of confused, but decides to kind of wanted to actually talk to Issei and why he was basically in one of the rooms. Now, she does notice that mostly all the rooms need key cards to actually even go in it. And of course, well, before mostly she can even say anything, Issei said, don't talk to me, and don't mention anything about this to school. just leave me alone. This is where, well, Issei basically has his hands in his pocket of like his pants and just walking away. This is where, well, the girl kind of mostly couldn't really say anything. But of course, she then looks at the room called 469. And this is where, well, she can just wonder what's behind that door. Could it be a family member? Could it be someone that's actually important towards Issei? She doesn't really know too much about Issei, but Issei was fully about to just walk towards the stairs again. This is where, well, before he can actually, well, do his crazy parkour back down the stairs, he was instantly grabbed by mostly the right arm and sees it's none other than, well, the girl. This is where, well, she says, I'm not letting you go down those stairs in your insane way to just go down and up. This is where, well, he just says, let go of my arm. This is where, well, he said in a very annoyed tone, and this is where, well, she says, no, you're going down the stairs normally. Issei sighs with just an angry tone, and this is where, well, they're basically walking downstairs, but yeah. This is where, well, they decide to start walking down the stairs, and this is where, well, she started asking questions about why Issei is so different from mostly being with his two friends. Or mostly, there's just a bunch of questions about why he's not acting like an entire pervert, being around her, trying to, well, do whatever. And this is where, well, because she's alone, and Issei could have really taken advantage about her, and then blah, blah. This is where, well, Issei says, can you please shut up for a second? This is where, well, Issei got quite annoyed with her just tone entirely. He says, before we actually then decide to go away, what is exactly your name? Because I completely don't actually know who you are. This is where, well, she actually becomes a little bit saddened. Just kind of saddened because she's not that popular. She just kind of transferred a while ago. This is where, well, she says, my name is Kaden. This is where, well, he says, Kaden. So, Kaede. Is that how you spell it? This is where, well, she nodded. Cool. You could actually put that in your papers because I didn't really put anything on there. This is where, well, she actually goes, who's gonna pay for the... Whatever I pay for it. No stress already. This is where, well, she's surprised to hear Issei's tone. He can pay for it. She doesn't know how rich Issei is or how much he has. And this is where she said, no. I will ask my parents to pay for it. Okay? Did you just put your, what's it called? Yeah, put all my information down. This is going to be the second time I actually put something down here. Whatever. This is where, well, she might actually hear that, but this is where, well, he says this. It seems to we're in the first floor. If you don't mind me, I really want to go home now that I think about it. This is where, well, mostly she nodded, and of course, where, well, they actually were walking out of the hospital entirely, like getting out of the stairs and walking out of it. Of course, people kind of gave them weird looks, but this is where, well, Issei kind of looked at them back with just, we didn't do shit. Now, fuck off, you dirty-minded fucks. This is where, well, mostly they managed to get out, and this is where, well, it's already kind of turning dark, and this is where Issei says, god damn it, don't tell me I have to walk you home. This is where, well, she switches up and says, I guess you're gonna have to do that. This is where, well, Issei switches up and says, so annoying. This is where, well, they're going, well, towards mostly Kaden's house, and this is where, well, Kaden says, this will be okay, I will go down the street. This is where, well, Issei says, this isn't far from my house. Weird. Whatever. This is where, well, Issei says, yeah, sure, bye. This is where Issei just waves her off and just walks away. This is where Kaden decides to just run to her house, and right now when she gets to her house, she opens the gate, and this is where her face is entirely red. She doesn't even know why she actually stayed that long towards a boy that is considered a pervert, but yet he was different. He didn't seem to care about answering any of her questions. He wasn't too out loud or burst about him being a proud pervert, and unlike when he's with his friends, but yet it's all different. His feeling and aura, it's all quite different. He's more emotionless and careless about anything, about when he's actually out of school. She doesn't know why, but she actually started kind of falling for him. But not the point here. There. We go into Issei going home, but this is where, well, he felt an energy signature that actually spiked up for a while. This is where, well, he then turns to he turns his eyes towards mostly a house, but this is where his eye transforms in an instant to being mostly the white around his eyes turned black, and mostly his pupilish eyes just became like a white silverish ball somewhat. It kind of looks like a kind of pupilish silverish white ball, but not the point. This is where, well, he kind of went and see through a bunch of things. This is where he found a mostly energy signature that kind of had it to be kind of reddish color. This is where, well, he kind of grinned his teeth for a second. Well, mostly he showed a little grin until it disappears after the mostly energy disappears also. He sighs and thinking that he might have to take care of that tomorrow. Right now he's too tired and to dealing with that shit, but yeah. This is where, well, his palms actually kind of glowed for a second. Mostly his right and left palm, and this is where, well, both of them show two spirits and says, why aren't you going to take out mostly the Jinchuriki? They both said at the once. Mostly one of them kind of looked to be kind of a white figure with whitish silverish hair and of course having horns. And this is where, well, he was wondering why mostly his host isn't just going to go over there to already take out the Jinchuriki. This is where, well, the other one also said the same. This is where he has a horn kind of going around his head. This is where, well, he doesn't have hair, but, well, he does have hair. It's kind of short and slick back, but this is where, well, he also has kind of like these Byakugan eyes. Yes, they both have palish white eyes. This is where, well, Issei looks at the both figures and just says, because I'm too tired. I'm too mentally and, well, physically drained for this whole day. This is where both of them sweat drops, but yeah. So both figures kind of just sweat drop. Mostly the spirit ghost figures just sweat drop and just said, fine, do whatever, brat. But you know you're going to have to take out the Jinchuriki later. Yeah, I'll go do that later then. This is where, well, we go into somewhat the time skip by being the next day, but it's mostly the afternoon. Now, this is where, well, Issei would have actually go home and then kind of like not deal with anything. Well, kind of going home, but this is where, well, he noticed one of his friends actually being Murahama. Murahama kind of being talking to a girl on the bridge. And this is where, well, Issei wasn't going to bother it too much to deal with it. But this is where, well, one of the spirits says, she seems to have this weird aura. Oh no, aren't you going to protect your friend? This is where Issei scoffs and says he can protect himself. Right now, I have to go deal with the Jinchuriki, right? That's all I have to deal with, right? This is where, well, he nodded. And this is where, well, mostly Issei walked away, but yeah. He didn't care about what Murahama was talking about, but yeah. Now, Issei has been looking for the damn kind of being that actually has the power for Jinchuriki, also known as the World Tree. But this is where, well, mostly a fragment of the World Tree, but not the point. This is where, well, he's been looking around the whole fucking week. Mostly in the afternoon, night, trying to find this, like, person. And trying to take out the kind of, well, mostly power within his body, but not the point. This is where, well, we go into mostly the week. Mostly someone was going on a date with a girl with kind of like, well, mostly bluish hair. Or not really, it was kind of like a darkish blue hair with kind of just yellowish eyes. Or not yellowish, kind of greenish eyes. And this is where, well, they're both going on a date. And this is where, well, she was kind of grinning, thinking to finally get rid of this person because, well, mostly someone within high-ranking fallen angels kind of asked her to kind of get rid of this being, or mostly this human, because he had a very dangerous sacred gift. But yeah, this is where, well, when she was about to kind of like kill him, mostly being Murahama was actually about to die, but before anything happens, a strange being actually smashes to mostly the, what's it called, water fountain. Now, of course, there was actually people watching Murahama's death because they were actually wanting to reincarnate him, or just trying to show protection, trying to get him into their side because he was quite powerful. But something actually smashes into the water fountain. Now, of course, Murahama was confused, and even the girl. Now, this is where the girl was actually having wings behind her. Now, this is where, well, she had kind of falling wings, which it was actually into two pairs. Kind of a fallen angel wing, kind of. Mostly she was kind of higher up from a normal fallen angel, but not the point. This is where, well, she kind of just was confused when the pressure power was pushing her away, but this is where, well, something appears out of the water. A figure that seems to have a brownish trench coat, and of course, he did have kind of darker skin, and of course, like, whitish hair, and this is where, well, he was extremely angry. The reason why he was angry is because he was actually being kind of manhandled for a second. This is where, well, someone actually appeared right in front of him, and before he can even react, this is where he gets nailed in the face, and then grabbed towards his, like, head. But of course, mostly the person grabbed his head and not his head entirely. And of course, the person managed to dodge and tried to kick the person. The person managed to put his, like, what's it called, arm right in front of him, which tried to block the kick, which he gets pushed away. This is where Murahama is confused in what is happening. But this is where, well, Murahama says, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Should I run? Should I run? This is where, well, Mostly before him actually thinking of what to do, he was trying to look for his date, and this is where, well, he was confused on where she went. This is where, well, his date is right now looking at this battle. Of course, the person who is right now with darker skin right now crackles lightning around him and trying to attack the person in front of him, the person with the hood. Now, this person has a blackish hood, and it has kind of layers of clothing. This is where, well, he kind of has blackish shoes, kind of boots, and this is where, well, he dodges the kind of lightning, mostly it was a lightning kind of like flat-handed attack, but it was mostly not a chop, but mostly like a pierce kind of motion. This is where, well, the person managed to dodge his head towards the left and managed to kind of miss his head entirely. Of course, behind him, the wall kind of exploded. It just splinters started exploding everywhere. This is where, well, the person jumps back away from mostly the person, kind of just sliding down around the ground, trying to just get away from this person. This is where, well, the person grits his teeth and says, damn you. So you're after my power. Then I guess I'll kill you, so you won't be needing to go after my power. But then again, what's it called? Are you the, I should say, are you the alien that keeps going after my somewhat brothers and sisters? This is where, well, mostly this person kind of just like doesn't say anything, but says one word in a very different tone of voice. And why should I tell you anything? His voice was kind of distorted entirely. It sounded like three people were talking. This is where, well, mostly the person grit his teeth and says, then you must be the one who killed the others. I won't let you take my power. Now die! He disappears in an instant and reappears trying to do a karate chop motion to try to take this person's head. Oh, mostly like take his body into two by cutting it into two until the person managed to grab the arm, kind of twists him to the side and then palm strike him in the stomach. This is where, well, most of the person launches into multiple trees, kind of get smashed into multiple trees, but yeah. This is where, well, he did let go of the person's hand, but yeah. This is where, well, he then sighs and says, this guy's quite annoying. This is where, well, two figures around him kind of says, don't let your guard down. Even if you're strong, this person's stronger than you. This is where, well, mostly, well, the person already nodded. But mostly just did a, what's it called, telekinesis, not saying he already knows. And this is where, well, the person who was behind some trees exploded into lightning right now, rage, saying, I'm going to kill you! His voice was deep and menacing and angry in tone. This is where, well, he was pretty angry at the person, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly that was happening. This is where, well, both of them start just clashing and fighting. This is where the person right now has more lightning around his body, like lightning armor. And this is where, well, the person who has the blackish hood and right now dodging attacks, he did get Motohama out of the way by grabbing him in the back of the collar and telling Motohama, in not his distorted voice, saying, get the fuck out of here, Motohama. You're ruining my fucking business, or not business, you're ruining my fucking, how should I say, battle. This is where Motohama actually noticed whose voice was that, and he was actually shocked to believe it's Issei's. But then again, Issei has been hiding a little bit of things away from him. Even the same with what's it called, Matsui. He doesn't know why, but he wanted to ask Issei something until we just tossed away. This is where, well, Motohama says, wait, son of a... This is where he smashes into a couple trees until the lightning figure tries to attack mostly, well, this person. This is where the person managed to kind of dodge the attack. Kind of mostly dodged the karate chop motion, of course grabbing the guy's arm, flipping him over, and then kicking to the side of the head, mostly the right side of the head, smashing him across mostly the multiple trees. Now, people are watching this kind of shocked, this battle, and this is where, well, someone with reddish hair, like beautiful reddish crimson hair, is kind of watching this, and she has kind of greenish eyes, and this is where greenish bluish eyes, and she's thinking, this person can actually help me. But both of them can help me against Riser. What should I do? This is where, well, someone was actually kind of watching this from somewhere else, and this is where, well, she actually thought that mostly this person who is right now kind of fighting against, well, mostly this lightning cloak figure was actually familiar. His movements were kind of familiar, like he dodges some of the things by actually parkouring some of the trees. She thought she actually saw this person before, but she doesn't know where she had seen it before. This is where the lightning figure right now gets angry, and right now his body starts transforming into this reddish energy. This is where, well, he then says, I'll show you the power of the Eight-Toast Jinchuriki! This is where, well, mostly 8 red tails appear behind him. This is where lightning was still crackling around him, but then it becomes red and demonic. And this is where he rushes at mostly Issei. This is where, well, mostly the red-haired beauty kind of wind her eyes after feeling this energy. It felt demonic, very demonic. Some other people actually managed to feel it. It was demonic, sinister, and much more stronger than normal demons. But this is where, well, it was potent at the same time, kind of feels like a yokai. Which mostly a white-haired Nakamoto actually felt this. Even a black-haired Nakamoto actually felt it also. Some other yokais actually managed to felt it and was actually shocked. But before even the person right now rushes at the third person, the person kind of right now, he had his eyes closed for a second. He was actually fighting against this person with eyes closed, but no one could see his eyes until his eyes changed for a second. One was actually palish color, while the other one was a crimson red with tomoyas. This is where both of their, well, mostly his eyes started changing to that of mostly the red tomoya kind of just changing, well, mostly just becoming the red tomoya, while the other one's kind of palish. This is where it well and kind of did like veins bulges into his eye. This is where he was basically dodging much quicker and easier against the tails before hitting him. This is where he was easily dodging all the attacks because they were literally going in slow motion before I even hit him. This is where, well, the person is gritting his teeth, the kind of 8-tailed jerky, and saying, "Die!" He's sending all his tails straight towards, well, mostly this person. The person noticed that the tails were going towards him, and of course, where he jumps up, down, left, right, and just easily just keeps dodging all attacks. They're actually going so fast, but mostly, well, yeah, no, easy, but not the point. He's easily just dodging. This is where, well, all the attacks just miss him entirely. This is where the 8-tails is right now angry, and this is where, well, lightning around him crackles more until he sends a lightning ball straight towards the figure. The figure right now saw the lightning ball, and this is where, well, he then goes to hand signs and says, "Earth style, earth wall." This is where, well, he like touches the ground, and this is where an earth wall appears. This is where, well, the lightning ball crashes into the earth wall, and then the earth wall just exploded, mostly creating a bunch of dust. This is where everyone was watching, kind of content to see what is happening, until mostly we go into the smoke. The smoke was actually going to dissipate, but mostly the figure itself, the one who was 8-tailed jerky or whatever, got his ass kicked just a while ago. This is where he was so much anger. He was on the ground, but he was still in so much anger. He was on his feet and mostly his like knees and mostly hands. And this is where, well, he was coughing up some spit. And this is where he looks at the figure with such anger eyes. He says, "I'm not going to die. I'm not going to let you take the power that was given towards me rightly. And I will show you what I'm going to do to you when I actually get my hands on you. But I will show you the true power of the 8-tails." This is where, well, mostly the person exploded with so much mostly energy, but it's not just energy, it's not magic, it's actually chakra. Some of the yokas can actually prove to that being chakra, but it's demonic. This is where, well, the person exploded into being a giant being. A giant destructive being is none other than the 8-tails, the ox. This is where, well, he says, "Now die!" He swings his arms all around to try to blow the person away, or mostly try to hit him. And this is where, well, it was destroying buildings left and right and hit and kind of would have been killing, what's it called, like humans, but mostly some people that were actually watching this actually used their own magic to try to get people away from here. And use some of the magic to kind of, well, mostly tries to, how should I say, like erase their memory so they wouldn't know what would be happening. But yeah, kind of put them unconscious. Mostly all the humans, but yeah. Well, this is where, well, mostly the giant figure starts just crushing everything, destroying everything. And this is where, well, mostly people who are actually watching this just have to jump away. Now, this is where, well, mostly the fallen angel kind of leader was actually called upon this after seeing this destructive being actually appear, this giant being, but also some of the devils were actually called, mostly like Sir Zex. Sir Zex, when he actually got to the human world as fast as he can, because it's not really fallen angel or mostly angels matters no more. It's mostly this creatures going rampage. This is where the giant 8-tails kind of ox started just rampaging and trying to destroy buildings, trying to look for the figure. This is where, well, mostly the ox screaming out, "Where are you? Where the fuck are you?" This is where he was screaming in anger and of course roaring in anger, but yeah. This is where, well, we'll see Sir Zex is kind of wondering what to do. But this is where, well, He noticed the what's it called, eight-tails ox about to launch a black ball that should be able to destroy anything. This is where he was actually looking for his sister for an instant, because mostly that was something that actually made him worry entirely, until he noticed his sister actually being in the a line of fire of where that thing is actually about to launch the attack. Now this town is quite small, and this is where, well, where his sister was mostly behind the kind of, or not behind, mostly in front of the hospital, or where the hospital direction would be at. So of course, either he gets his sister out of the way, but most the hospital attack, or mostly the hospital be blown up. This is where he doesn't know what to do. Humans will be destroyed, and also devils, his like sister. This is where, well, Surtex can actually power up enough destruction matter to try to destroy the beam, but he doesn't know what to do. Of course, he decides to try to rush over there, but this is where, well, he noticed a figure appear right in front of the red hair. Right now, in an instant, kind of grabbing her from the waist, and this is where the girl was blushing in an instant, because she never expected to be, like, mostly grabbed, until she was actually thrown out of the way in an instant, until the blast right now launches straight towards, well, the figure. The figure did not move at all until his hood was literally blown off of him, which it was just blown because of the pressure of the wind. This is where he had brownish, kind of like brownish, well, it's mostly like a darkish brownish kind of color, but yet his eyes were goldenish brown. Well, somewhat. They were actually transformed to being different. This is where, well, he didn't care no more. He had it to show off his powers, to kind of get rid of this goddamn creature. This is where, well, he says, "You son of a bitch." Well, it's time for me to actually try. This is where, well, the reddish hair girl noticed the person, and actually can only remember him to be a second year, because she did ask someone to kind of go find him, but the person always kept mostly lost track on where this person would have been at. And this is where Cersei saw this person. This person's arms, which mostly not his arms, he took off his gloves in an instant and just tossed them to the side next to Reyes, and Reyes was confused. This is where both of his palms right now glowed in an instant, one being red and blue. And of course, the Jinchuriki sent what's called the explosion, the tail beast bomb, straight towards Issei. This is where Issei says, "I'm not letting you hurt my family, my grandmother. She's in the hospital, and I won't let you just destroy anything in this place. So die!" This is where, well, he puts both of his palms together, and this is where, well, mostly the tail beast bomb right now pushes him, kind of pushing him far, further, mostly back, because even though he's crushing the ground and using chakra so he wouldn't be pushed back, this is where he's absorbing the chakra entirely in this tail beast bomb. This is where, well, he keeps just kind of grinding his teeth and saying, "No, I won't give up." This is where, well, he kind of absorbs all the chakra that's in the mostly the tail beast bomb in an instant. This is where, well, it was all gone. This is where the Jinchuriki is confused and shocked and says, How did you manage to stop a tail beast bomb? No, that's impossible." This is where, well, Issei's hood is already blown off. Of course, his hands are kind of, well, mostly his, like, jacket coat, mostly the long sleeve was actually burned off, showing a bit of mostly his arms and muscles. Of course, where, well, lines were appearing from it, one being blue and one being red. This is where, well, mostly we go up to his face. Mostly lines actually appear, one being blue and red, and this is where, well, mostly they cover his eyes, but then decide to kind of make horns appear on top of his head. One being a horn that's actually protruding up, while a horn kind of protruding around his head. This is where, well, Issei narrowed his eyes at the Jinchuriki, but this is where both of his eyes are now completely different. One of them is actually none other than the Jogan, a rare kind of eye, because it was from the Byakugan. It kind of evolved to be the Jogan in an instant thanks to the power of the chakra that he just absorbed from the tail beast bomb. And the other one is basically the Renegon, being a kind of, well, bluish, or not bluish, a purplish kind of Renegon. This is where, well, he looks at mostly the tail beast, and this is where, well, the tail beast grits his teeth saying, "I see, so you have those eyes. So you're basically from that clan, but not the point. I won't let you take my power." This is where he gets kicked in the stomach so hard. The tail beast, this is where, well, mostly it's none other than Issei appearing right in front of him. This is where Issei then kicks him right in the face, right now pushing him up. This is where, well, the tail beast is launched up, and this is where, well, the tail beast is trying to make a tail beast bomb to attack Issei again. Issei managed to absorb the attack in an instant by his left hand, and this is where, well, Issei then snapped his fingers, and this is where, well, multiple, rods appear around him, and he just launched him up, just stabbing into the giant tail beast. This is where, well, mostly his Renegon eye switches in an instant, or was it? Well, the Renegon was mostly on top of his forehead. It was a purple Renegon. Mostly his, like, right eye, being, not right eye, left eye, was basically this yellow eye. And this is where he basically made the rods be bigger and stab it into this, like, tail beast. The tail beast screeches and felt like his chakra was being, right now, sealed further. This is where, well, before he can even do anything, he would just kind of go, ugh! This is where, well, the tail beast started shrinking and shrinking until he goes back to his normal size, being the, dark hooded, or mostly dark kind of skinned figure. This is where, well, he had whitish hair and felt like he couldn't use any more of his chakra because rods were actually sticking all around his body. He then looks up to see, well, Issei appearing right in front of him. Issei said, "For your actions and right now trying to destroy this town, I'll destroy you and take your powers away." This is where, well, the president spits at Issei, and Issei managed to dodge, and this is where Issei, right now, kind of right hand, glowed with a reddish energy in his blue hand. This is where, well, mostly his right hand, left hand, right hand, but not the point. This is where, well, mostly before the person says, "Go, fuck," this is where his hand was shoved into this person. Mostly, it wasn't his right hand, left hand, mostly his left hand entirely. This is where the person coughed up blood and couldn't do anything. This is where, well, he said, "No, you can't take the power. You would just kill me. You can't." This is where, well, Issei said, "Well, that's too bad, doesn't it? You could have done this the easy way, and you could have just gave me the freaking fragment of the tree." This is where, well, mostly the person saying, "Screw you!" Ah! He's screaming in an instant. This is where, well, the power was literally taken out of him, and it was just a fruit. This is where a fruit that Issei was holding in his left hand. This is where the fruit disappears into a dimensional portal. This is where, well, the person coughed up blood and said, "You monster. You alien freak." This is where he died in an instant, falling down to the ground. Issei makes a red ball, mostly this blackish ball appear in his, like, left hand. And this is where he then tosses it straight towards the human and says, "A pathetic being like you should just die. Besides, I needed your power for my plan." This is where the black ball exploded in an instant, killing the human. Right now, just burning him to ash and just nothing but there's ash. This is where, well, mostly Issei looks around. He looks at the destruction and madness that he just caused, and this is where Issei just hates himself for the fact that he took too long to kill this fucker. This is where, well, Issei then just goes through hands and says, "Wood style, wood revivement." This is where, well, mostly everything that was destroyed by the tail beast started kind of being revived in an instant by wood style around Issei. This is where buildings entirely themselves, even though they were made of concrete, turned into wood buildings, but then concrete buildings themselves. This is where everything was literally turning back into normal. This is where, well, Issei is right now depleting his chakra, but he didn't care. He hated himself, the fact that he just let the shit happen. He could have ended this a while ago. He should have ended it a while ago. This is where he hates himself entirely. Issei, after seeing all the destruction being gone and actually going back to normal, someone actually appeared right in front of him. It was none other than Sir Zex. Sir Zex says, "We need to talk, human." This is where Issei said, "Yeah, that ain't happening." Issei hits him in the stomach so hard with a palm strike, knocking him out. Oh! This is where, well, Sir Zex was knocked the fuck out. Yeah, he couldn't react fast enough towards a palm strike to the stomach. This is where, well, Issei then jumps back and says, "Until next time, but fuck this shit." This is where, well, he then makes a portal appear behind him and he just went backwards. But yeah, he just didn't care. Sir Zex was knocked out, and this is where, well, someone appeared next to Sir Zex. It was a guy with kind of blondish hair and blackish hair, and this is where he just had, like, falling wings behind him. Yes, it was none other than Azo. And I was just like, "Eesh. Hey, Sir Zex, you fine?" This is where Zex said, "Don't, Alex, not tell anyone about this." This is where, as I say, "Sure, let's just not tell about anyone the fact that you just got your ass kicked so hard by a kid." And he looked to be a kid. He looked to be around your sister's age. Holy damn, I never expected this kid to be so fast and knock you out. Hey, if you were in my shoes, wouldn't you be the same? Knock the fuck out? I was just saying, well, I would have tried to convince a kid to go with me and not just the man to ask him to go with me. Okay, screw you. This is where Ezra chuckles. But this is actually where I'm going to leave it off for kind of, well, part one of this what if and the redo. Yes, I thought of just redoing it and kind of, yeah. Other than that, bye, see you and bye. And yes, in this one, Issei does have the Sharingan and the Byakugan because he is a part of the Uchiha bloodline and the Hyuga bloodline. But that's not the point here or there. Also, he does still have the two karma seals being what's it called, Momoshiki's and Ishiki's. I will explain in how he got those two later on. It will kind of be between mostly an incident about his parents because his parents in this one are actually dead. But yeah, other than that, see you, bye, and see you.